Hello, welcome to Kitchen Basics 101, where I teach you the bare bone basics as if you've never cooked a day in your life from the perspective of a mom. On our last episode, we defrosted the frozen salmon, okay, in our container. And now it is ready to go and we're going to cook it. We're going to do it the simplest way you can imagine. Now, it's really hard for you to see. Let me get the camera up so I can show you. It defrosted and there is tons, can you see it, of liquid in here. We don't want that. Liquid is bad. Don't worry about this little spot. It's no big deal. But if you don't like it, you can cut it out. But it's not going to hurt you or anything. It's probably just like a bruise on the fish. You just feed that portion to your husband. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so you're going to pull your fish out. I'm using tongs just so that, you know, I don't get my hands all fishy. And you're going to definitely be careful not to get this liquid all over your kitchen. Get a paper towel. And you're just going to dry the surface of your fish, okay? To the best of your ability. Don't panic. It's okay. Did I get it dry enough? I'm sure you did. Is it too dry? Can't be. Don't stress. This is not a big deal. We just want to get as much of this excess liquid off as we can. One, so we can get a really great sear because we want to get a little bit of like a crust on the fish. And two, just because, you know, this is the liquid it's been sitting in. Like, we don't want to eat that liquid, right? So make sure to get both sides. You might need another towel. It looks like I'm going to need another towel because fish is very delicate. So be careful. Like, this piece already is a little bit broken just from the process. Fish is very delicate. Okay. Also, you're handling raw meat. What are you going to go do now? We're going to go wash our hands. Get your pan on the stove and get it nice and hot. Okay. So that's what I'm doing right now. I've got it on like medium high heat. Now I'm going to use a little bit of grapeseed oil. I know everyone's like, why are you putting oil? It's already a fatty fish. You need oil if you want to get a nice brown crust, okay? I use grapeseed because it's a high temp oil and I'm allergic to avocado oil. Avocado oil is also an option. All right. Then we're just going to move the fish around so that we make sure it's got oil all over. I am not going to put oil in the pan when I cook it. And I got a lot of questions about this last time we did fish. So I find whenever you're searing a meat at pretty high temperature, so that's fish, that's filet, sometimes chicken, although less often with chicken, okay? If you put the oil in the pan and get the pan hot with the oil in it, and then you put it in, it's so splattery. It splatters everywhere. There's excess oil. If you oil the meat, then the excess oil stays on this plate, because you're going to lift it up with tongs or a spatula, you're going to put it in. All that excess oil stays here on the plate. So one, you're not eating it, but more importantly, it's not in the pan to pop up onto me and burn me, right? So it just helps with some of that splatter, in my opinion. So today we're doing super simple seasoning. Everyone told me I should try the salmon seasoning from Trader Joe's. So we're going to. I already used it to make some roasted broccoli, which I'm going to eat with my salmon. Wish I had rice, but I don't have any rice made. And I'm in kind of a rush to eat. The salmon rub I found had great flavor. It has like a little bit, it's very complex and I like it, but I didn't think it had enough salt in it. So I'm going to put salt first. I want to clarify, if you are salt sensitive, it has salt in it. It just, to me, wasn't salty enough. So I'm going to do a salt and pepper first on this side of the fish. Salt and pepper, which, by the way, you could stop here. Salt, pepper, even garlic maybe. Chef's kiss, beautiful. You could stop here. You don't have to use the salmon rub. You're like, oh, there's no Trader Joe's by me. Okay. Do salt, pepper, garlic. Do lemon pepper like we did before. The seasoning, you know, that's a personal preference thing. So I'm going to heavily season it with this rub. I recommend whatever you're seasoning with, give that seasoning a taste, right? Because if you coated all of your food with a seasoning you've never used before, and then you find out, guess what? I don't like that seasoning. Well, your food's going to taste like that. Okay. So I take a little, shake it into my palm of my hand and taste it. Just to make sure, you know, that it's a flavor that I like. I tasted this. I know it's not very strong, so I know I'm not going to overpower the fish too much. And I know I like it. It's smoky. It has smoked paprika in it, so you can really smell the smoke. So I'm just rolling it around in the oil and the seasoning to make sure that there's beautiful oil and beautiful seasoning all over all of it. So instead of it looking like this piece where I sprinkle the seasoning, see how it's all like smashed in? That's what you want. So I'm going to flip it over. You see? And rub it in so it's got oil, it's got seasoning, it's got all the happiness all over the fish. And then we're gonna get it in the pan. Sorry about the vent, but you gotta put your vent on because I'm about to put cold fish into a very hot skillet and it's gonna give off a little smoke. Always put it away from your body. Okay, see the smoke coming up? I'm gonna turn my heat down a little in a second, but I do want a nice sear. Ooh, this fish is coming apart. I need to get a spatula. You want it to be hot, you want a nice sear, but you don't want too much smoke, okay? There's a little bit of smoke coming up into my exhaust, which I have on low, so it's not too loud for you, but it's not a crazy amount of smoke, right? Because if this is just billowing smoke, then all you're doing is burning your spices, burning your oil. That's not the goal. We want brown, crispy deliciousness, not burnt. I'm gonna do about 2 minutes on this side and then check to see if I'm ready to flip. It's been 2 minutes, so let's check and see where we're at. If we've got crispy, oh yeah, we got crispiness. And let's give our fish a flip. Oh, I'm excited. This is gonna be so delicious. There we go. Flip the other side. Look at how gorgeous this is. All right, 2 minutes on this side. Fish is almost ready. So I'm gonna get a lemon ready. I gave it a nice wash and a dry, and now I'm rolling it on the counter to loosen up the juices because I'm gonna cut it open and squirt it over our dish right before we eat. If you are worried about the temperature of your fish, you get yourself a meat thermometer. You stick it into the central part of the meat, like the thick part of the meat. And for fish, you're looking for 145. Now this has been sitting for a second, so it's probably cooled some, but we were at 145 when it was in. So if you're nervous, do that. I ended up doing 2 minutes on the first side and actually like 3 minutes on the second side. So you could do like 2.5 on each side, but it depends how big your fish is, how thick your fish is. That's gonna vary. What I look for is to see that it's like flaky and coming apart easily. And that it has changed to a pale orange instead of that bright orange that it was when we started. Most important part, the tasting, right? So I'm gonna go for this guy here. I'm gonna put a nice squeeze of lemon. Fish loves lemon. All kinds of seafood loves lemon. So I recommend a squeeze of lemon. Do you have to? No, you can do whatever you want. It's your kitchen, okay? I wanna show it to you. This was skinless and boneless. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Delicious. Salty, smoky. You got that hint of lemon, buttery. Perfection. Do it with some pre-roasted broccoli. Roast some broccoli, put it over rice. Eat it with grilled asparagus. Have it with mashed potatoes. Just eat the fish. Just as a side note, just one of these 2 pieces is an 8-ounce fillet, is 45 grams of protein. So if you're tracking your protein, this is a great way to get in a huge chunk.